Okay, so I'll share the screen now and we start. Okay, so as I just said, we're going to be talking about a new discovery that is going to bring wellness and abundance in health. And this is really important information, probably the most important information you'll be hearing about health and longevity as well. So we're going to talk about this molecule that is called glutathione, and that it exists in every cell in your body. So just take note of this. Glutathione is the most abundant molecule in the body after water. It exists in every cell in your body, every organ, every tissue, every living cell, even a plant or a bacteria needs glutathione to stay alive. It's so important for life. And very importantly, it is produced inside our cells. So just remember these three things and you'll understand everything I had to say later on. So it'll be really clear. So this molecule is so abundant. It is needed in every cell that needs to be alive. And we produce it inside our cells. So what happens with glutathione? So in more than 4,000 studies, they have seen that glutathione diminishes as we age and as we become chronically ill. So there's been so many studies where you can see how this is linked to longevity, healthy aging, and prevention of disease. And as you see here at the end of the graphic, this is really interesting because people who live longer lives, who get to live after 100 years old, normally people who live in tribes in the Himalaya, for example, they have seen that they have higher levels of glutathione. So this molecule is so important for longevity. I mean, we all are going to die someday, but we want to live a long life and a healthy life where we can reach an old age without having to deal with health problems. No, we want to be awake and alive and have energy. Okay, so this is linked to our levels of glutathione. So what you see here is a graphic in which you may think, okay, well, this is normal because everybody, as we age, we become chronic and we have problems and health issues, and this is normal. We're just change the way of thinking, and this is not normal. We don't have to age with diseases. We don't have to become less energetic, less alive as we age. This production of glutathione is not linked to the fact that we are older. It is so because we need it so much, because we live in an environment surrounded by toxins and stress and viruses and oxidation free radicals. So we need it so much, but we are not able to produce it. Our cells are not able to produce it in the same level as we need it, but not because we are old, but because we lack the materials to produce it. So this is so very simple to solve. Everybody can get back their levels of glutathione, no matter how old you are or how ill you are. We all have the ability to produce it. So this graphic that you see here is very easily corrected, as you're going to see now. Right, so this is glutathione. What does it do in our body? Well, it has more than 1,500 functions in the body. But if I was to summarize it in one sentence, I'd be very clear. This is the master protector of our cells. Its function is to protect us from disease, protect the cells. It acts as a barrier against a free radical attack. It protects our organ, our tissues. So regarding the immune system, glutathione is the master of the immune system. Okay, it's going to help the immune system against the virus, a bacteria. but it will also help us against autoimmune diseases, allergies, asthma. So it's going to make sure that the immune system is working properly. We can use it if we can use our glutathione. If we we are low in defenses, or we can increase our glutathione if we need immunosuppressants. It's going to work and help us both ways. So imagine if you had a supplement that can do these things both at the same time. Well, there are none, okay? So it's very difficult to find something that will help someone with an autoimmune disease as well as someone with a very low defenses. Okay, and then we have the master detoxificating substance. This is the main detoxifying molecule in our body. It will help us get rid of heavy metals, chemicals, also toxins that we produce, but it's also going to help the liver and the kidneys, right? So this is produced mainly in the liver and the kidneys because they are the organs that most need it. So will help us get rid of heavy metals, help our liver, help our kidneys, all right? As well as modulating our immune system. And if this was not enough, glutathione will help the mitochondria as well. It will help our cells to produce energy because the mitochondria need glutathione to reduce its toxic waste and to protect the mitochondria, to prevent it from overheating. So if we increase our glutathione, we'll have more energy, more increase our performance, mental performance, physical performance as well. And then again, if this was not enough, we'll have a master antioxidant here. And what is an antioxidant? It's something that is going to protect our tissues, our cells against free radical attack. It will stop oxidation. Oxidation means aging, disease as well. It will help us as an anti-aging molecule. And mainly it's the master antioxidant. That means that not only it acts as an antioxidant itself, but it will reactivate the antioxidants that we find in our diet, such as vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, and so on. So it's the master antioxidant, the one that we produce and the one that is going to reactivate, recycle our diet, our antioxidants, okay? And not only that, but we also have something that will help against DNA damage, will help DNA repair and protection against radiation. Radiation sometimes brings DNA damage, and glutathione repairs DNA. So we have 4 or 5 so vital functions for health. If we can make sure our immune system is working properly, we have detoxificating capacity, we have energy, we have protection against free radicals, and we also have DNA repair. I mean, probably we're not going to have many chronic diseases, probably. So all of these, please find it yourself, research, do some research, because I don't want you to think this is something I say, it may not be true. Please do your own research. You can find this in PubMed, in Google. If you look for functions of glutathione, what glutathione does in our body, we're going to share with you some web pages where you can find this information. So we all need glutathione. We all need to have a good level of glutathione. We want to keep our glutathione levels up throughout our lives. That's for sure. This is clear, and even medicine and science recognizes this. So how do we raise our glutathione? If I stop this presentation now, you may go to the health food shop and you may find glutathione in supplements, but this is not going to help you. As I just said, glutathione is so abundant that just a little capsule will do nothing in your body. It won't reach your brain or your liver or your kidneys where you most need it. It will stay in the blood, and mainly relatively big molecule that won't go through the cell membrane. The cells won't absorb glutathione because it's too big for the membranes and because they produce it. So why would they want to absorb something that they are capable of producing? So we can't tease our body. We have to make glutathione inside our cells. So really, glutathione supplements have very good marketing. It sounds good, but it just no help in our cells, in our body. It's a waste of money, basically. We need to be able to produce it. And for that, we just need the material, which is 3 amino acids. This is so simple, so safe, so easy as well. Glycine and glutamate are in our diet. We have no problem with this. They are in proteins. In a normal diet, you find these amino acids. But we do have a real problem with the cysteine. And this is what we are coming here to explain to you. Well, this is other functions of glutathione. It helps with vitamin D metabolism. It's cancer protector. It's a neuroprotectant as well, as we see later. So how do we get the cysteine that we need to produce glutathione? Cysteine is mainly found in raw animal proteins, such as raw meat, raw milk, raw eggs, and some cruciferous vegetables, such as broccoli. But we are not going to be eating raw meat nowadays because our digestive system won't tolerate it. Raw milk is the same thing. So we are in an end road, no? What do? We need glutathione, but we don't obtain cysteine from our diet because cysteine is thermolabile, meaning it degrades with heat and with the acidic pH of the stomach. So it's very, very vulnerable, and it oxidizes readily with heat, even with shaking. I mean, even with a knife, anything that exposes it to heat, air, sunlight, it will oxidize the cysteine. So if we were to go to the health food shop and find a supplement of cysteine, that is just not recommended because it's free cysteine. It is going to get readily oxidized in the blood. So if we want cysteine, it has to come from a food, from a protein, where it is stabilized or consolidated. And this is so important. If we want to absorb cysteine and we want it to reach our cells, it has to be stabilized or consolidated. It has to be stable, right? It cannot get oxidized on the way to the cell membrane. So for this, it has to be inside a protein, but the protein has to be raw. And which is the most important food or protein that we can ever have that is high on cysteine, on consolidated cysteine? This is breast milk, humans' breast milk, mother's milk, okay? That's why babies have a high level of cysteine, because they are born with high level of glutathione. They're born with a good level of glutathione, and then maintain this production for some time. So we want something similar to breast milk. And this is where Immunocal came into being 25 years ago. This came from a laboratory in Canada that Jeffrey is going to explain to you a little bit more. And they found a way to obtain the cysteine without denaturalizing the proteins in isolated whey protein. Isolated whey protein contains cysteine, but it has to be obtained in a very careful way so that we don't damage the bonds of the cysteine. We want to maintain the cysteine stable, okay? So this is undenaturalized whey protein, very high on cysteine, it's concentrated. And very importantly, this Immunocal comes in a sealed sachet, meaning that it's still protecting the cysteine. If you find any whey protein and it comes in a bottle, once you open the bottle, you are already oxidizing the cysteine. So this is in a sealed envelope. It is high on cysteine. It contains 1.5 liters of raw milk. I mean, it is obtained from 1.5 liters of raw milk for each sachet. And it contains around 400 milligrams of consolidated cysteine, achieving a 95-97% absorption to the cell membrane. So now we have the cysteine. Now our cells do get the cysteine, and now they produce glutathione. No problem with that. We can all do that. So this is, I always say, this is the most important supplement you will ever try in your life, because it's not a supplement. It is a solution to a failure of our diet in this way. I mean, our diet is not bringing us the cysteine we need to maintain our glutathione levels. So this is just a food, a way to obtain the cysteine in a stable way. Immunotech also produce this other type of immunocal, which is the same base, the same immunocal, plus mineral citrates, plus the peptides. This platinum brand, it will help people who are older than maybe 35, 40 years old, because we all increase our inflammation as we age. So this is going to modulate even more inflammation. It will also help our bones, our joints, stopping calcification and helping our bones obtain more calcium. So will help us against osteoporosis, arthrosis, kidney stones or bile stones as well, anything that is related to calcium, bones, and joints. And also will reduce inflammation. It's normally a formula that we use for more for illnesses. You can give it to a baby if that baby has cancer or some chronic condition. It's not problem for a child to take it, but they normally don't need it. So children and pregnant women normally take the blue one. And if you're a little bit older, you have some pathology or you have inflammation, it's better to take the platinum. And then they have the formula for spores that also contains the same immunocal plus precursors of nitric oxide, which will help with blood flow and oxygenation of the blood. So this is really intended for performance, okay? So I don't want to go on too much about the different immunocals, because I don't think it's you can find that information later, maybe, if you need it, because we don't want to waste too many time. There's 3 more people coming. So, and then we have the boosters who are helping the genes related to the production of glutathione. This is not a glutathione precursor. This is just a broccoli seed extra, which is going to activate the body's natural detoxification system, and the genes will activate the genes related to the antioxidants and the production of glutathione. We have the green one, which is mainly for to help with the digestive system, intestine, increase antioxidants as well. And then we have the orange one, which is more for performance. We will give you energy, a sustained energy for 6 hours. And just to finish with this talk, with my part, who needs immunocal, or mainly who needs to raise his glutathione? Do I have to be ill to want to increase my glutathione? Well, you don't need to be ill. You just want to, for example, if you want to become pregnant, or if you are pregnant, it's so important for a pregnant woman to prepare his body with the raising of glutathione, because when we most need glutathione is when we give birth and when we become pregnant. And also so important to protect the development of the baby during pregnancy. Avoid mutagenic changes. If you're young, maybe it will help you have more energy, better immune system. And if you have some illness, also it's going to help. But if you are older than 35, we are investing in prevention. We are investing in healthy aging, no? We want to avoid degeneration. We want to protect our brains, that our brain oxidizes so readily as well, because it's mainly made of fat and it needs antioxidants. So we want to protect our brains, we want to help our immune system, and we want to delay the aging process. For that, we may just need 1 sachet a day, depending on your age. And if you give it to an older person, you'll see a massive difference in a couple of weeks regarding the cognitive function. They'll be more awake, they have better memory, they will improve muscle mass, and you'll see that really soon, because it will make a real difference, because in this age, people tend to have less cognitive function, okay? So it will be very apparent. And these are the diseases that you see here that have been researched, and they have found a link with glutathione levels. So here you can go to PubMed and you look for Alzheimer and glutathione, and you'll find many, many studies with all of them. As you see here, most of them have something to do with neurological problems, autoimmune diseases, cancer, tumors, kidney, liver, hepatitis, hernias, multiple sclerosis, and many symptoms and conditions related to the brain as well, mental health. So we invite you to search for this information, ask for it. Whoever invited you to this presentation can give you more information if you need to. And now I introduce Jeffrey McTavish, who is a chiropractor, and he has a lot of experience with glutathione and its uses, and he's going to share with us a little bit more information. So welcome, Jeffrey. I've just made you can share your screen now. Are you muted? No. Okay. We can hear you, Jeffrey. I don't know why.
Can you see me still? I'm trying to get my slideshow up here.
Okay, now yes.
You got that yet?
Yes, thank you.
Do you see the slide?
Yes.
Good. That's me. I've been with the Immunotech since February 2015. When it first came over to the UK, and been using it and advocating its benefits since then. And we had a change in the company a little while ago, for the better, may I say, where this amazing man, Maurizio, took the company and has taken it to higher heights, and looking in beyond where they could take this particular product and its amazing benefits to people. And I had the pleasure of meeting him in Madrid a little bit earlier on this month. So what we're looking at is how this amazing little wee sachet can have a massive change inside your body. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. And I think, you know, Elena said a lot of great stuff there. We could also say that this could be shared with your animals as well, because I've had people who've given this to their animals as well and had the same amazing results. So this particular product has a protein that has so much research behind it. And this is why I loved and I was attracted to the company at the very beginning. One, at the very beginning, it was a Canadian company, and two, it had an enormous amount of research and science behind it. And three, the testimonials that you could hear were unbelievable, just so emotionally emotive, I guess is the best way to say it, is that you got involved in those people's story because they transformed their health from being bad to great. And this is really, really cool. And now we know that we have got proven results. We've got over 80 studies published over a long period of time, and there's loads of patents for this product. And I'm going to touch a tiny bit on that. Where it all started, it started with this man right here, Dr. Gastone Bonas. And if you wanted to, you could go onto YouTube and listen to some of his videos that he has been interviewed with. In conjunction with Patricia Conchavin, who's originally from the UK, by the way, they started to formulate what was really in a whey protein and how they had to refine it to find out what was its purpose, what was it doing. And eventually they found out that it was after they filtered out the casein, they filtered out the lactose, they had a pure source of an amino acid that was still alive in a package. It still had the double bonds between the molecules. And so I call this a live product because I can do muscle tests with this particular product. And I know it's going to work because every sachet is alive as opposed to other whey proteins, which are filled with all the casein and all the lactose. So these guys figured out how to get a pure source of this particular product, which we now call Immunical. Then on the picture, we added a new guy called Dr. Wolf Drog. Now he is a German guy who is an oncologist, immunologist, and he was the one who formulated the Immunical Platinum. He was the one that said, I've got a good idea. Why don't we put some extra proteins in there that have a very cytokine or very immunological action? We'll put in some minerals to help the pH, which would been what Elena said, we're talking about the loss of calcium or maintaining our calcium levels. But let's put some creatine in there to help with muscle metabolism. How cool is that? So this is the one guy who got us the Immunical Platinum. And so these three amigos, these three amazing people, they gave us the products that we have today. We've got Immunical Classic. We've got Immunical Platinum. We've got Immunical Sport, which is a newer one, which we've already heard from Elena. And they have some other products, the booster, which is for energy, and the booster for God and booster. But they also have an omega-3 and some other products as well. So when we're looking at how this is so good in science and how it's based in science, is that this is the only non-pharmaceutical product listed in a book of pharmaceutical products. How cool is that? You're looking at the physician's desk reference in America. And it's also in the Red Book, they call it, which is a specific book for the pharmacists. And in Canada, you've got the Compendium of Specialities in Pharmaceuticals, and it's in that too. So in America, we get some doctors that actually can write a prescription for this because it's in that book, and the insurance companies will cover it, which is really, really saying that this particular product has clout because it does what it says on its history, its scientific database, and all the studies. It raises your glutathione levels every time. And this is over many, many studies and over a long period of time. And there's another slide to show that's even more exciting. Now, this guy, Luc Montagnier, is a very, very specific and special guy because he is the one that founded with two of his colleagues the HIV and AIDS virus back in the 80s. And in 2008, along with his colleagues, they received a Nobel Peace Prize. Now, he is an author, and he did this book. And in this book, which is all about cancer, AIDS, and neurodegenerative diseases, there's a full chapter that he is dedicated to Immunical because it has a pharmacological action every time you take it. It's going to raise glutathione levels. And all these scientists know that. So when we're doing scientific studies all around the world, they will use Immunical to look at how glutathione helps with the system that they're testing. And right at the moment, we have the first European study that's coming I believe it's out of Spain, where we're looking at how glutathione can help or has an effect on fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndromes. And this is being fueled by using immunochem. And we don't know when the studies will be available for that in terms of information, but we know that that is an exciting adventure, particularly because it's here in Europe, which is fantastic. And it's going to be groundbreaking. I know it will be, because I know that this has helped those people with those particular conditions. And when we look at the science, we've got Dr. Jimmy Gutman. Now I know Dr. Jimmy. I've met him several times, and met him at head office as well, and in Belfast when we used to do talks in Belfast. And you're looking at a product here that has a lot of people around the world taking this. As a matter of fact, there are so many countries in this world where this product is being shipped to that we don't even know. We know it goes to Australia. We know it goes to the Eastern Bloc. We know it goes to South America. I don't think there's probably one country in the continent where this product is not being shipped to, because it works. And why? Because of this slide. It's giving us the information that we can bank on every time we talk to somebody. It has the research. We have the patents. We have the patents for the adjunctive treatment for autism and spectral disorders, the prevention of cancer, the treatment of cancer. You're looking at also the treatment or the prevention of neurodegenerative diseases for somebody who's got a mild or moderate or severe brain injury from either football, boxing, whatever it is. Dr. Dennis Lindman showed that when you use immunocal, the brain doesn't start to form Lewy bodies, so you don't get Alzheimer's and dementia. So that we now got a patent for that. So we have a very strong scientific food supplement that has a pharmacological medical action. That is powerful in that one little wee sentence. That's huge. Look at all the studies that we've got, 400 plus articles written by the creators of immunochem, 125 medical and educational institutions around the world using this particular product to what? Raise glutathione. It's in the, as I said before, the physician's desk reference in the compendium of pharmaceuticals and specialities. It's also used in sport. Now that last slide there where it says informed sport, this is really cool because this is a independent organization that tests athletes to make sure that they are drug-free. And we know that immunocal passes all those. As a matter of fact, there is a company here in the UK called Oracle, and we've got Dr. Nathan Lewis, who is one of the chief nutritionists in Oracle, and they insist on all their athletes to take immunocal. Why? For overtraining syndrome, which is now called underperformance syndrome. And specifically for that, is specifically to make sure that the athletes that they use, we've got Nottingham, Newcastle, Chelsea, and Tottenham football teams using it, but we have a whole host of our Olympic athletes using it. And actually, some of those athletes have switched over to immunocal sport instead of immunocal platinum, which is always interesting. So we've got that label that we can now take to clubs everywhere, and looking at the data that we've got in terms of the science, we can trust it. We can always rely on it because this company has always based themselves on a scientific base through Dr. Brunos and Patricia Punjabi. Now, Dr. Jimmy wrote a book a long time ago called Glutathione, and he updated it, and he's updated it. I have the third version. This is the fifth version, and it's got even more information about what glutathione can do and the conditions that it could be applied to in both the research and clinical applications. This book is fantastic for anybody who just wants to know about glutathione and have a conversation with somebody to say, do you know what? I know the person you're talking about, they got to look at this product because it raises glutathione. It's medically proven to do that. It's scientifically proven to do that. And here's some information that you can look at to prove that and tell them about the product. Now, one of the biggest things that I found exciting when I joined the company back in 2015, there really was only 7 countries that were operating, bringing this product to, and the business product opportunity to people in those countries. But lately, I remember when we first opened Spain, when people from America came over, and then I say Immunotech, they brought in Portugal, and then in the last year, here in the EU, they brought in a lot of different countries. Now we're looking at Germany, Austria, Switzerland, France, and this is just all in 1 year. This company is expanding because of this man and his vision. His vision is amazing. His vision is amazing just as much as the science behind the product is amazing. It's a great combination. And that's where we're heading. We're going to be heading into new territories, and watch out. It's going to be fun. And we've got all the science behind it, which is great. So I'm going to pass the conversation back over to Elena. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and thank you for the time.
All right, thank you, Jeffrey. Wonderful. Thank you for your presentation. And now we'll be with Amanda, who is going to explain to us how we can start taking Immunoco and which is the best way to do so if we want to become clients or we want to become what we call associates. So, well, here is Amanda. Welcome, Amanda. You can share your screen now.
Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, super. Well, just before sharing my screen, I just want to welcome everybody on board. And yes, basically what I'd like to do is shed a little light on how to jump on board and start trying these tremendous products. So thank you, Elena and Jeffrey, for your incredible information. And before sharing, I'd like to let you into a small anecdote that made me consider the difference between price and value. And it is true that sometimes the price may seem a little high when one considers a box of the product. And I was certainly 4 years ago when I started, silenced forever when one lady, she was a doctor actually, and she told me that her patient, after 5 weeks of taking this product, had actually stopped urinating from a tube where he had been urinating for 1.5 years or something like that, and started urinating where he needed to urinate, okay? And she said to me, Amanda, he didn't find it expensive. So I thought, okay, I will never ever consider price again, and let's give a little bit of value to what we have in our hands, because this discovery is, yeah, something else. So let's share. I hope I can share what I'd like to share. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, fine, thank you.
Super. Let me just see if the menu bar. Is it going to let me share my screen? There we go. Okay, so we're here to help our captain now lead this global wellness movement. And I just wanted to let you into the fact that we've just won an award. It's a 2025 award. Thanks to this purpose, thanks to the incredible vision, as Jeffrey was saying, of Mauricio, our CEO has managed to earn us this prize, okay, for transforming lives for the better. And they highlight that in 2024, we had a surge in customer growth of 89%. Okay, so what does that mean? That means our mission is resonating worldwide. So we're happy, very, very happy about that. So how do we come on board? Okay, well, the person who invited you to this talk can share you a little link. Okay, and with that link, you get a 10% discount. You purchase one on just once, you only need to just have a little try and you can get that 10% discount. But there are other ways of reducing the cost, okay? So if you've become a preferred client that receives a package on a regular monthly basis, okay, you can also reach out for a 25% discount, okay? And not only that, but on your first time, yeah, you also get £10 discount. Okay, so there are small ways in which you can reduce, yeah, these costs. And another interesting one that we have here is that when you have reached an expenditure of £200, and it doesn't have to be in one go, you also get a little bonus, okay, quite a large bonus of £20. So imagine if you actually recommend to 3, 4, 5 people in a month, you can actually get £50 off your next box. Okay, so that's interesting. And then also, as a client, you get a little link. So when you get your link, if you actually recommend to somebody else, not only you're going to get £10 discount, but they are too. Okay, so these are like the benefits to keep in mind. And basically this program is called the Living Better Rewards. Okay, you can register for free. There are no renewal fees. Okay. And there are a few additional benefits here. Yeah, the 25% which we've mentioned, the fact that you receive it on a monthly basis, and obviously you can modify it or cancel it whenever you need. Okay, so that's something that you don't need to worry about. So there's no like small ratings, and there's no like requirements for minimal stays or things like that. Okay, so at the end of the day, what preferred customers are receiving is a 20% profit, okay? But preferred customers with a subscription will be getting 5%. That's maybe unnecessary to go into those kind of details right now. So let's give you a little kind of outline, okay? Just to summarize what I've just said, yes? With a link, you get a 10%, with a monthly subscription, 25, first time purchase, £10. Then you have the bonus of 20. And just to let you know, I'll be letting you into the larger packs if you really do want to go for a larger pack and a larger discount, then there are possibilities to register, okay? Now this would be an example for you. And let's say, for example, that you get your monthly subscription and your bonus, your percentage discount's already going up to 33.5, okay? When you get the other bonus, once you've reached your 200 expenditure, the discount actually goes up to 42, as you can see here. And then with a monthly subscription, the bonus, and maybe if you just refer one client, you're already getting a huge discount, which is actually above even a consultant's, okay? So these are the packs available. And in England, because of legal requirements, initially we start off with smaller packs. So I hope you can see them because I squashed them onto one page here, I'm afraid. What we have in the United Kingdom are 3 smaller packs that you can see on the right. Yeah, the Venture, the Quick Start, and the Antiox. Okay, and they're bringing 2 boxes each. Okay. So what happens in the UK is that after a week's gone by, you can actually access the larger packs at much greater discounts. So you would need to kind of contact the person that invited you to see this with a little bit more detail. But just as an overview, you can see that the prices initially would be around 140, 160. And then once elapsed a week, you can actually go for the larger packs, which are 4 and 5 boxes. Okay, so I hope I let you into a little bit into the details of how to go about the purchase. Registration for the larger packs would involve, yeah, a consultancy status, but it doesn't really it doesn't oblige you to anything. It's just a way of achieving higher discounts, basically. So thank you, Elena.
Well,
And
thank you, Amanda. Yeah,
you're very
I mean,
welcome.
if anyone wants to ask any questions, we are here to help you, but you may refer to the person who invited you here to get more information. But mainly, Immunotech allows you to self-finance your consumption. You can get discounts as a client, or you may become an associate, as Amanda said, a consultant, and in that way you may self-finance the product just from inviting people to these sort of presentations that we may do more regularly. So if you know someone who may benefit, you can invite them to these presentations. And in that way, you will, in the end, in a few months, you find you are self-financing the product. And some people may want to go further and may just want to invite more people, and they may think of this as a new sort of income, no? Which can also be something that will add to your to your pension in the future. So if you want to find more about this type of business opportunity, we'll be doing another presentation just on the business side for people who are more interested in that. So now we stop here, and if you have any questions, or if Saita wants to say something, who is another nutritionist who works in Belfast, or if you want to ask for a protocol or how to start or how to take it. I mean, there's so much more information we could be giving, but we don't have the time. We could be going on for hours talking about glutathione, what it does in the body. And I mean, there's so much more that you can learn about this. But now if you have any personal questions, or or if you want to give a testimonial as well, if anyone has started taking it and wants to share his or her testimonial, you're welcome to open your microphone. Okay, any testimonial?
When I first took the product back in 2015, they said take 2 sachets a day. Doesn't matter whether it's the classic or the platinum. And I went, okay, I'll just do what I'm told. And I've been an asthmatic since I don't know, since I was 3 or 4. And I grew up in the 60s and 70s. I was experimenting on every bloody drug on the planet to try to really control my asthma. And it wasn't until I started, and when I went running, I did a lot of running then, and I would use my blue spray, which is salbutamol, right? And I would use that sometimes up to 9 times running. It was extraordinary, really bad, not good for your heart. But I wanted to run, and that was the only way to get over exercise-induced asthma. So I started the product in February, and by June, I started noticing that I'm using my salbutamol spray a lot less. And it became less and less and less. And now I rarely use my salbutamol. I still use a preventative. Now, I think that maybe because of the conditions of my sensitivity to certain things, but the point being is that it's only been a Immunotech product that has changed something. And now I know what it is. There is a study out there that shows that the severity of asthma is directly linked to the lack of glutathione in the lung tissue. But I would also state that would also be linked into vitamin C, because vitamin C is very linked into the architecture of certain cells within the lung tissue that need vitamin C. And of course, what is vitamin C? It's an antioxidant. And what needs to recycle an antioxidant? Glutathione. So it just made more sense to me when I had all this information and I saw that study. I just get tears down my eyes going, why didn't they have that in the 60s, in the 70s, when I was really struggling as a child to breathe? How many times was I sent to the hospital to get an adrenaline shot in my arm? Too many. And this is why I love this product, because I know what it does. And we can do something to help people. And now we've got the science behind it. We've got the absolute rock solid science that we can go and speak to people, because we can say, do you want that study on this? Boom, here it is in PubMed. Boom, 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 bang, there it is. That's why I like it. And that was my testimonial with Pascal.
Okay, thank you, Jeffrey. For me, it was the same. I've been a nutritional therapist for 25 years, and I thought I could solve everything with my diet and my supplements. And I was using vitamins and minerals, and I had a gluten-free diet. And now I understand that vitamins and minerals, and they are the army of nutrients that our body needs. But glutathione is the captain, the colonel that makes sure everything is working properly. I was lacking the cysteine, and since I've been taking Immunocore for the last 3 years. For the last 2 years, I haven't had hay fever again, and that's been the first time in my life. I had hay fever since the age of 11, and it was very, very serious sometimes, and it was very uncomfortable. And now I'm free of hay fever for the first time in my life, and yeah, so. And I've been looking after myself for a long time. I mean, I had a very, very special diet and so on, but I couldn't get rid of the hay fever. So that is my testimonial. And we have so many testimonials, mainly in Spanish, but we have them subtitled. So you can hear them in a Telegram group. You can ask the link for that group. And there you'll see testimonials in English or with subtitles. I mean, testimonials are important, but because you'll listen to people explaining how many sachets they took for how long a time, and what were their symptoms and so on. Okay,